I'm about to go inside the store in a second. Other videos currently uploading right now. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna just do one more video for today and then resume the rest for tomorrow. So when I was talking about some of the things that I felt were, I never really talked about this before, but the things that I felt were inappropriate that was happening to me, I'm not really going to say about who, but somebody would walk around the house and they were exposing themselves, their private parts, and I don't know what you classify that as. You know, they had pants on, half of their zipper was up and it's showing their private area, and I'm seeing this, and I don't really know what to think of it. You know, looking back, because I remember a lot of things as a kid. I'll just say when I was 4. So let me just say this. When I went to the doctor one time. I remember I went to Hahnemann Hospital and I had to pee inside of a cup. That's the only reason I can justify this. So I had to pee inside of a cup, and I remember that it hurt a little bit peeing in the cup, but I had to pee in this cup. They gave me like grape juice, you know, the type at the hospital to use the bathroom. Well, let's just say somebody, when I was like, they thought I was asleep. I remember this so well. When they thought I was asleep, they like I don't know if it was covers on me, but I know for a fact that they like, I don't know if I had pajamas on or underwear. I had underwear on. I didn't wear pajamas, but I had underwear on, and they looked at my private area. They thought I was asleep, and they just walked away. And that's just something that I always thought about, but I never said. But it happened. But I'm not saying about who. And let me just say this. Up until about, I'm just giving you some spoilers. I'm just going to tell you right now, my brother always was a protector of me. Even with the girl living in our house, he always stood up for me. If we, one time in '06 that we argued over who was going to sit in the front or not, he made sure that he was civil with her. They never argued because they were sort of cool. He'll say how she's a bitch now, just like the half brother. He talks all this mess about. I don't talk to none of them now, but um he always stuck up for me around that time. So just don't think that it's him, because we wrestled around with each other, we played with each other, but he never done anything to me looking back that I can say, you know, he violated me. He never did nothing like that to me. But that happened to me. I was exposed to somebody's private area from 9. So looking back, when my parents were together, it never happened. But when parents split up, it went on from 9 to about 15. So this is why I don't like it when people make fun of Hassan Campbell, because you don't understand how things affect your mind. Everybody perceives things differently. People like to say you should know at 12 and 13 what's appropriate and what's not. Well, if it's going on in your own house or people close to you, you don't know what is acceptable or not. So I don't like it when people make light of whatever he dealt with, because I never watched his story, because like I said, sometimes listening to stuff like that, I just think about some things that happened to me. Like, I can't, for the love of me, I can't watch Michael Jackson's movie, the first one, not the one they're coming. I don't feel like Michael Jackson needs a movie at all, because he's had too many movies. But he had a movie with Lawrence Hilton Jacob where he played the father, and I cannot watch the first 2 hours of it because it brings back just memories of my dad and how he would yell at me with his girl around. It just brings back so many memories. I can't even get through this one scene where they took Joe's guitar and they were and he got beat in a room, and it just brought back so much, man. Like me, it's just certain things I just can't watch. it had a really bad effect on me. But around this time, like I said, I looked at girls. I'm looking at like girls my age, really my brother's class, but I don't have no girlfriend because the two girls that did like me, they broke up with me because I wasn't doing nothing with them, and I didn't understand what it meant to date somebody. I just thought going out with somebody meant, oh, you like them, but I never did nothing with them at all. So no girls were really showing me attention, and if they were, I was really slow picking up the signs. I didn't know how to interact with people. I didn't know how to form relationships. I didn't know how to form bonds with people and getting their numbers and talking to them. I didn't know how to do those kind of things. So I'm spending a lot of time alone. I'm spending a lot of time just by myself because my brother is trying to get into a good high school. He's trying to get good grades. I'm an average student at best in school. I'm not really performing at my best. And, sometimes where I'm going to my mom's house, my brother's at the dad's house, and I'm spending a lot of time alone because I'm the first to come home from school. I have a key now, so when they let us out at school, first thing I do is I'm watching TV, or I'm on the computer. I'm watching videos. I'm on YouTube because YouTube was introduced to me in 2006 when it was popular. But I'm online, and I'm just looking up things. I'm learning about the world through the computer. But one thing that I'm just going to say this right now that is bothering me at 12 is just the fact that I told you what happened to me with just the exposing of an adult's private parts to me. I always was bothered by that so much. I was bothered by it because I just never felt like it was right. And I'll just say, when I was like not washing up, I just look back on things. I question, why were they making. There's no reason why you should watch a 10 and 11-year-old take a shower. I know it would sound more innocent if I was younger, but there's no reason why you should watch an 11-year-old take a shower. I just look back on things like that. And a lot of the just I was going a little crazy through the girl's control freak ways. She was making me. So me and my brother, we always had to take the trash out on Thursday because the city would come and pick up the trash on Friday. We took out the trash. If there were groceries in the house, we had to bring them in. But the girl, her daughter, couldn't just run in her room because our cat liked to run outside. She would just make sure the cat wouldn't run outside. She never did any work. So we were always subject to work, to chores, to doing things, but she was always exempt from doing things. And I always felt that was unfair. He never spoke out against that. But around this time, I am beginning to question myself because I'm getting exposed to someone's private area. I'm just going to say that. And they're not really hiding that at all. They're showing it right in front of me. So I secretly begin to watch this show. I never revealed this before, but I'm beginning to just like watch. I start watching things on so there was a channel on our when I was alone by myself, I was watching a channel on Comcast. It was a channel called Logo. Now Logo it's a gay channel. It's a channel for gay people. And I pretend like I never knew what that was whenever I was around with my brother. But I was watching this channel. I was watching it. I was watching it pretty often. There was a show that I watched on Logo called Noah's Ark, and I don't know if it was around '07 or '06, but they had episodes on demand and they had episodes on the regular listings. I always made sure that I never had the volume up, but I watched this show because it's not that I felt that I was gay, but I was trying to understand just another person's, because I didn't understand. First of all, at 12, I didn't know what gay was. I didn't know what sex was. So you can pretty much say I wasn't gay at 12. But I guess in a sense, I was trying to understand what other people did if they didn't like women, because I don't want to say that I hated women. I hated women at the time. I wasn't at that stage yet. But let me just say this. I felt that in a way, I didn't have the words to really put together to explain how I felt. But I felt like guys that would resort to something like that, I felt like they were speaking for me, because all the all the trauma that I was getting in that house, all the control freak ways of his girl was causing me to think that all women were bad. So I watched this show and I was trying to get an understanding of just what they were doing. I watched it, but it was some things that just weren't for me, that kind of made me a little freaked out. Like I'm just gonna say this: they had kissing depicted in that show. I couldn't really stomach watching that at all. It just was really weird to watch. But I watched the show because what gay meant to me, I didn't understand what gay meant. I always thought that it just meant happy. But I was trying in a way just to see, like, because when guys, I know this sounds really weird, but I was just trying to understand the mind of the people in that show. That's why I watched it. But I watched a show called Noah's Ark on Logo. And then they had and this kind of creeped me out a little bit, but I still watched it. They had a segment on a show where they were showing, it wasn't legal at the time in all 50 states, but they were showing a documentary of 5 people that were gay getting married. Now, I wasn't identifying as gay or anything at that time, but I just knew I hated my dad's girlfriend. I hated her daughter. I had to live in a house under a man who didn't value really his son more than he did his girlfriend. And I always just felt like I didn't know what heterosexual meant, because when I had a MySpace page, I learned what the word straight meant, and I learned what the word gay meant. I knew what gay meant, but I didn't know what straight meant. So I had a hatred for the relationships like what my dad had exhibit in front of me. I hated that. So I was trying to see, in a way, would it be better if, you have a relationship that's depicting like a gay family? Would that be like better? Because they had an episode where they had a daughter and she had 2 fathers raising her. But I was watching these shows, and I'll admit it. I was watching a gay themed show called Noah's Ark on Logo. And I watched a documentary. But like I said, I'm 12. I'm a child. I'm 12 years old. There is just things in that show I couldn't really watch too much. I couldn't watch 2 guys kissing. I can't watch 2 guys because it wasn't really, they weren't doing that in every episode. Because I watched this show when I was at my mom's house. I made sure it was on like volume 2. But I didn't try to watch it where they had like parts that were like that involved kissing, because like I just said, it wouldn't a kid cannot process something like that at all. But at that time, I had a hatred for the relationship the kind of relationships that my dad was in. I'm not like in no kind of way, I'm not like a gay rights activist or anything. But at 12, that's just kind of my introduction to just watching content like that. And you know, I don't think, because like I said, I didn't have an idea. I didn't have an idea what sex was. I didn't have an idea what it meant to, be sexual, if anything. Because I'm not thinking about doing what I would do with a woman today. I'm not thinking about those things at 12. But I understood that I had an attraction to women on TV, girls in my school. But 12 years old, like I said, that's something I watched. And one thing that I will say too, like I said, because it's hard to really talk about with family, because I wasn't molested or raped, but being exposed to the person's private area, that happened for years. Walking around the house and not concealing themselves, it really just messed me up a little bit. Because like I said, I didn't know if I should have enjoyed that, or if they were doing it and they were doing it in front of me and they didn't care. I think about it sometimes. I don't really think about it much. I can't even talk about it with anybody without them getting mad. But I'm no way am I sexual with anybody. And by the way, too, just speaking of relationships, my brother's friend Devon, I didn't really find this out till I got a little older, like years later after it happened. So my brother's friend, who didn't invite me to his party when I was like 7, when I'm 2006, my brother was almost about to go to jail. He got suspended because he threatened Devon, his friend, because he found out that the girlfriend that he brought over for our party that was going to commemorate our graduation years early that summer, that summer of that year, he threatened him to kill him because she was cheating on him with his best friend, and that ruined their friendship. And I didn't find that out till I got a little older. So he was no longer friends with him, and he broke up with the girl. But I'm not really close. I was sort of losing. So around this time, I'm not really close with my brother, because when we're in our beds at night, because he can, if you knew my brother, he can attest to a lot of the stuff we went through in that house. It was a lot of controlling going on, a lot of nagging, a lot of irritation. It's responsible for my OCD. Looking back, just like I said, I had to conform to living in that house. I had to conform to a lot of the rules that were there, and they were really unfair. They weren't fun. I didn't feel safe in my own house. One time my brother came over, and this is when our relationship sort of just deteriorated. The half brother came over. He came over, and I'm thinking that we're on good terms when I see him. I'm happy to see him. We got into an argument. I forgot what it was about. We had fought like physically downstairs. And I remember I threw his shoes in the trash. He had like these Air Force Nikes. I threw in the trash. And the fight got so bad that it had tension in the whole house, where he had to go to someone else's house that night. And then the girlfriend was mad at me. She wouldn't talk to me for like a day because she was really cool with the brother. And he's not really important in my story because he only comes around during the summertime. He lives in a whole different another state. But let me just tell you this, just to spoil this for you. He is accused of raping the girl. So my half brother was accused of raping the girl that lived in my house, my dad's girlfriend's daughter. I found out that he was accused of raping her, and I don't know if they were going to like set like press charges, but she accused him of raping her or assaulting her or whatever, and that's why this was happened in 2008. But that's why he didn't come over after that very much. But when that happened, I only saw him like one time. So he came over when I was 16, because I didn't see him for years. He was like 22 then, going on 22. And then I didn't see him until he was 26, I was 20. That's the last time I saw him. But when I saw him when I was like 16, I didn't see him for 4 years, and we weren't close. We were on like good terms where we didn't hate each other. But to this day, I don't really consider him a brother. But we got into a big argument, and it was mainly because of the girl. Let me just explain it like this. Whenever he would come over, and the girl that lived in the house with us was around, she was like she got a little too bold where she would talk shit. She would kind of like bully both of me and my brother, and that caused us, like me and my half brother, to fight. We weren't really getting along. So my dad, he just left the house. My dad, the half brother left the house. But that's where that fight happened. Let me just say this. He came over when Chris Benoit died, the wrestler. I remember he came over. This is when he told me that wrestling was fake. So that may have been the same week when he died. Cause he graduated high school that year, and he was going to go to Toledo University that very year. But we got into a fight, and that severed our relationship. And my brother is away at like another program called like the Front Row Seat. I don't know if he did PFL 2007, but it was like another program where he was away, I think. I don't really remember. But 2007, that year, like I said, it was a fight with the girlfriend and the daughter, and me, my dad, my brother, and me and my dad. My brother wasn't involved in it, but he called the cops to get them out of there. But they wound up coming back. He took both of them back in the house, and she apologized, sort of, but they had nowhere to go. But like I told you, she had some purpose of probably fucking him, sucking his dick. I don't know, but that's why he allowed them to come back. And I don't really know what you think of a woman who stays in the house with another man that's not related to her. I don't know what you think of that very much. But like if my mom had me around a bunch of her boyfriends, I don't know what I would think of her today. But around this time, I'm not getting no attention from girls. I'm getting older, my lips are getting bigger, my nose is getting wider. I'm a little heavier now because all the eating out I did that the summertime of the previous year, it made me a little fat. It made me a little chubby. I got a little stomach going on. I'm a little chubbier now. I'm not really getting a lot of attention from girls. The ones that did like me, I blew my chances with them. So when there was a party this time, and I'm gonna just tell you this, it was a party with the girls that they lived in my house. Her friends came over, and the girl that I thought that was my girlfriend, she came over this time, but she was a little more developed. She had breasts this time, and like she was the same age as me, but she looked different because she was more developed. And I don't know if I liked her more then, but like I told you, there is times when I can see like a girl like naked, or they may expose themselves, and I'll just think about that a lot. But I'm not acting on anything that I don't think about. I'm not thinking about sex at all. So I remember the girl. It was a friend of the girl that lived in my house. she was downstairs, like in the bathroom. She was downstairs, in the bathroom. Like we were like, so it was a bathroom in the basement. We had two bathrooms, one in the basement, one upstairs. She was on the bathroom, and you can kind of see like through the door. And I kind of like peeked in for like 5 seconds, and I told somebody, I was like, "Yo, who's that in there?" And then he guarded the door, and I just thought about that the whole day. Like I partially saw her without clothes on, like she was on the toilet, and I partially saw her. And like when I had instances like that, wherever I saw the girl like half dressed or something, it just like I said, it gave me that sensation that I couldn't explain. Cause I'm starting to see differences in my body now. Like I said, I need to put deodorant on now. I don't have like a mustache. I do like have hair bumps growing on my upper lip area, but I don't have like facial hair coming in yet. Um, like I said, I'm just surprised. I'm just really glad that I didn't have nothing severe happen to me. But I'm conforming to a lot of her control freak ways. Wash your hands before you come in. Wash the tub after you use it because she has asthma. Put your shoes in your room. All this control freak ass shit. Her coming in my room, throwing stuff in there. Her telling my dad if I'm not doing my homework. If I would come in and I had the TV on while I'm doing homework, she like, "Are you supposed to have the TV on as you're doing homework?" And she'll tell him. But I'll tell you this: a lot of the hitting stopped 2007. A lot of it, I don't remember really getting hit 2007. But the dressing down stage begins where I'm being berated. I'm getting stressed out over messing up in school, because this is the stage where because it's summertime, we took another trip to Virginia Beach, and it was all good. I'm gonna talk about that another time. But 2007, when that comes around, he's pressuring me a lot to get good grades because high schools are looking at me. He wants me to go to a good high school, and he's not explaining to me why I should go to a good high school. He's not telling me, "Oh, if you don't, he's not like driving me around in his car and showing me the kind of jobs that people do when they don't apply themselves in school, or when they don't do their homework, or when when they're not applying what they learn." See, what I do, I educate myself to apply the things I learn for a career. He didn't explain it to me that way, where he's showing me people that work jobs like ironically, the very kind of work that he did, it doesn't require a lot of education. Now, it required him to take a test. It required a good background check and a drug test. But that very kind of work that he does, which is driving, it does not require a lot of work. And I understand your parents want you to do better than them. I get that. But he's not explaining to me why it's important to get good grades. He's just dressing me down in the process of telling me these things in front of his girl. And mostly when my brother is around, he's not helping at all. He'll be in the car with my brother, and they will basically dress me down, both of them sometimes. But mostly my dad, if he didn't like what was on my Tuesday folder where you get like your test back, he'll just berate me, and it made me stressed out a lot. Where I would sometimes hide grades, or I would like make a copy of a test, and I'll explain how I did this. I'll make like a fake test, make it look like I got more good grades than bad ones. So you know how like you'll have maybe like a like three B's, one C, and a D. If I had a bad folder, I would make up tests. And I'm kind of laughing, but I'll make up a test, like a fake test, and make sure he'll see like at least the good ones, so the bad ones are a little disregarded. But I would do whatever I could to avoid him like getting mad at me, because it stressed me out, where I was beginning to go crazy. At this point, like I said, the OCD went into full effect. I'm not washing my hands very much, but Anything in my room has to be straight. It has to be in order. Anything on my dresser has to be straight. So if I have like underwear, they have to be folded. You know, my clothes and my storage bin have to be folded. My bed has to be made. I don't really care how the bed is, but everything in my room has to be lined up in a certain way. I don't like shoes in my room because it's dirty. But everything in my room, I don't like dust on the TV stand. I don't like dust on the TV. I don't like I don't really realize it, but I really don't like the lights on. I like the lights off. Don't understand it at that point. I don't like my door open. They always tell me to keep the door open if you're the only one in here. I don't like that. And my brother went to so around this time, my brother he got into a school. I'll just tell you the name of it. It's called LaSalle College High School, which is in Winmore, PA, which is not far from where my mom's house is. So he is living up there full time because he's living there full time because it's not a much of a commute to get there versus my dad's house. So I'm at the dad's house most of the time, and we're not really close like that anymore. When I looking back at 2007 at 12, we're not as close because of all the stuff that happened with the fight and the abuse, like just the dressing down and all that stuff, man. It's like, because I mean, I'm looking back, like sometimes I'm thinking maybe he would drive my brother to my mom's house after school, but like I said, he wouldn't like have the time to drive to like get, like, you know what? Sometimes he would leave early just to get to school. So if he was at my dad's house, he would leave a little before me. I remember they would leave before me. So yeah, he was at my dad's house, but he had to leave early. He had to leave at like 5:30 in the morning just to get there on time. Because my dad would get him on the bus out there. And I want to also tell you this. There was a famous, I did a video about this. There was a bank robbery at a Dunkin' Donuts, not too far where we used to live. A police officer named Chuck Cassidy was gunned down by a robbery suspect, and my brother was stopped and searched by police at 14. They searched his bag because they thought he was like a suspect in that robbery, and they only found, and I remember they said all they found was books, so they let him go. Now looking back, I don't think it's justifiable to stop and search a 14-year-old, even when you first of all, somebody under the age of 18, you can be stopped and searched, but you need to have probable cause. And I don't know what he did for them to be stopped and frisked, but I remember that very day. That was also my introduction to police in the black community, our relationship with police officers. But like I said, back to my dad. It was a lot of stress going on. I didn't like living. I really didn't like living under the house with both of them. The girl really even asked me one time, "You haven't been talking to me lately," and I just kind of disregarded it like it was nothing. But I'm beginning this stage where I'm becoming really depressed. I don't hate women, but I really have a hatred for mostly her and her daughter, or anybody that is a counterpart of her, that is equivalent to her and her daughter. I'm having a hatred for both of them, and I'm understanding the distinction between white women and black women. I'm understanding that black women can be more angrier and more, they can have attitudes, but I don't express that in my thoughts or my everyday language. I don't express it. I just am aware of it. Because my mom is an example of it. My teacher, who was a 7th grade teacher, I'm gonna talk about later, she's an example of that. You know, some of the women in my class are an example of that. So I'm beginning to see the distinction between black women and white women, and I'm really not happy about it at all. But like I said, OCD is kicking in, depression is kicking in, paranoia is kicking in from just the stress of doing good in school, because he's pressuring me like ever just to get good grades. But I'm gonna get something to eat. It's getting a little dark. I'm gonna come get back with you guys. Peace.